Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Andrew Fillion, and I'm coming back to you guys today with another bacon-related video. So a lot of you guys have discovered my channel through a video I did about 2 or 3 weeks ago where I did a 7-day bacon challenge. The reason I did that challenge in the first place is because I'm also a men's physique bodybuilding competitor, and I foolishly did not take my cut seriously enough in the beginning phase of my cut, which led me to pulling out some tricks that I know work, which is fasting and ketogenic dieting. So with that, I always like to go all in on something once I'm properly motivated. And so I decided I would do a 7-day bacon challenge. It was actually something that I had never really done before, where I fully restricted myself to a true ketogenic diet. So I didn't know what to expect. I did expect to lose a lot of body fat. What I didn't expect was how good I was going to feel while doing that. Mind you, in this video, I was only eating about 1.5 pounds of bacon per day, which, depending on how you cook it, is only about 1,000 calories. You guys, that is insanely low calories. There is no reason that you should feel good at that calorie level, except if you're on keto. Guys, I'm a firm believer in this now. I wasn't in the beginning, but I've been doing this for about 3 weeks now. I have so much energy all the time, I can barely sit still. I've barely deviated from the plan. So I've been eating a lot of bacon. I've introduced eggs. I still have sardines. I have my calories a little bit higher now, but I'm still basically eating what I was in that video as of today when I'm making this video. And I love it. I feel great. I feel amazing. So, new challenge. What's the new challenge? So I have my 3rd bodybuilding show next Saturday. It's exactly 7 days from now. It's going to be my final show of the year. So my first 2 shows, great learning opportunities. Unfortunately, I did not lean down as much as I would have liked, and so I didn't place very well, but I figured this is a great time for me to actually experiment, try new things. What's the worst that could happen? So for this final show, I am not going to do a carb load at all, but I have a hypothesis. I want to actually try doing a fat load. So it's going to be the same concept as a carb load, but instead of using carbs, I'll be using fats. If you're not familiar with bodybuilding, I'll go over briefly what a carb load is. You see, behind the scenes, a week out from a show, many bodybuilders are doing what is called a peak week. So a peak week, in layman's terms, you're trying to peak your physique, which means you want to look as good on stage as possible, like maxed out, peaked, right? Hence the word peak. What do? Well, there's a lot of different strategies, but most of them boil down to some pretty common themes. I'll go over them really briefly. Starting about 7 days out from a show, the traditional bodybuilder is going to start cranking the water. We're looking at maybe 1 gallon to 1.5 gallons, maybe even 2 gallons of water per day. And during this time, they're also going to up the sodium. The whole plan here is to get your water levels as high as possible so that the water is its own diuretic, and you end up peeing like crazy all week. And this is going to really dry your body out and get rid of any excess bloating that you've been holding on to. About 72 hours before going on stage, that's when you flip the script and everything starts changing. The bodybuilder is going to significantly pull back on that water and also pull back on the sodium. So you've been drinking all this water, peeing a crazy amount. You pull back the water, but your body still thinks new water's coming in, so you continue peeing like crazy. This gets you a really nice dried out look, but there's a caveat here. You feel very bad. I'm talking really, really bad. Most people cannot comprehend just how bad this part of prep feels. In fact, the final 72 hours are usually the worst parts of most bodybuilder preps, because not only are you cutting the water at this time, but now you're introducing a new element, and that new element is carbohydrates. These carbohydrates are going to even further dehydrate you because blood glycogen is made up with carbs and water. So if you shut the water off and you're eating these carbs, the idea is that the carbs are going to pull all the excess water out of your body to store as glycogen. Whether it truly works that way or not, nobody really can say. I personally don't think it works that well. And I think that the water that's in your body gets pulled to more like vital organ function than actual glycogen storage. So personally, I would never cut water while eating carbs. I'm just saying what the traditional strategy is. In conjunction with cutting the water, you take in the carbs. Now, how many carbs? Well, it's actually quite a lot. Everybody's got their own little metric, but a general ballpark rule is that you'll take your current body weight in pounds and multiply that by 10, and that's how many carbs you have from the beginning of your carb load all the way to you stepping on stage. So let's say you're 200 pounds. You're 200 pounds, multiply that by 10, you can have 2,000 grams of carbs, which, yes, that's 8,000 calories. It's a lot. Like I said before, these last 72 hours are really tough on you. You feel very bad. When you're that dehydrated, taking in that many carbs, you will feel like your entire body is shutting down. You might feel the initial burst of energy from finally having some carbs, but once that subsides, you really don't feel good. You'll feel very dizzy, lots of brain fog. You'll have difficulty sleeping. There's many things that go wrong here. What's the deal? Well, when it comes with the carb load, knowing the plan doesn't mean anything. Sticking to the plan is what matters. Now, I've done, as of this video, 6 bodybuilding shows. I'm about to do my 7th. For 5 of them, I did a traditional carb load. I've only succeeded twice. For 3 of my shows, I screwed it up, okay? And the thing is, this carb load, the whole idea is to fill you out like Super Mario. If you screw it up, it's all out the window. You end up destroying your physique on the day of your show, and you end up looking a lot. You look the opposite of peaked, really. You just look like you got home from a Las Vegas bender. Your skin's all smoothed out, and you look puffy in the face. They call it spilling over. So that brings me to this video's challenge. What is the challenge? I'm going to be doing a fat load. This is my hypothesis, okay? So I've been kicking ketones, right? My body is now used to using ketones for fuel as opposed to glucose. My hypothesis, and I don't know if this is actually true or not, this is an experiment, is that if I take in an excess amount of ketones, I'll be able to fill my muscles in the same way that people do with a carbohydrate load. But the difference is that I don't need to cut salt and water. In fact, I want to keep those just as high as before because I want to continue feeling good. For me, I just don't want to feel like crap 72 hours before a show. I'm done with that. I want to be able to do this in a way that feels good. Maybe it won't work, but we're going to try it. And hey, what's the worst that could happen? It's just a show, right? So anyways, idea is through the week, starting today, 100% keto, 0 carb. A lot of people are going to call it carnivore. That's fine. We'll call it carnivore. We're going to do 1 week of strict carnivore. As the week progresses, I'm going to gradually increase my fat intake until I eventually get to an actual calorie surplus around Friday. So today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, what am I going to be doing? I'm going to try to my best of my ability to stick to maybe 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of bacon per day, or you can have some eggs and sardines as a substitute, so it doesn't have to be that crazy strict. But the idea is that I want to have 80-20 macros, 80% fat, 20% protein, starting from today till Tuesday. And I'm only going to try to have about 1,500 calories per day at this time. Starting Wednesday, I'm going to add more calories, probably crank it up to about 2,000. Thursday, want to hit around 2,500. Friday, that's when I can start having a little bit of fun with it. I might go as high as 3,500 calories total, primarily coming from fats. I'm not worried about protein at this time because with a ketogenic food, you're getting protein by default anyways. And if I'm going for about 300 grams of fat on Friday, I should have my daily protein requirements automatically fulfilled just from bacon, eggs, sardines. Maybe I'll have a little bit of red meat from beef source. We'll see. Not going to go that crazy with it. The bacon and eggs has been working, so I might not change things up right at the finish line. Might just stay with that. Point being, I want to do a fat load. Get the muscles completely full of ketones. Again, I gotta express, this is an experiment. I don't actually know if it's going to work, but I really want to try it because you've never really heard about stuff like this in the bodybuilding community. Everybody's doing this, carbohydrate load every time. And the paranoia of not winning a show will probably keep most people from experimenting. But this is the end of the season for me, and I didn't win my first 2 shows, so there's not a lot of risk for me on the table here. That's where the experiment comes in. What I'm going to be doing for you guys this week, I'm going to try to bring you with me, just like I did in the bacon video, to my workouts in the kitchen, doing all kinds of stuff. I want to take you guys all the way through to my show. So this might end up being a little bit of a longer video. I promise it'll all be worth it because win or lose, I feel convinced that this high fat, low, zero carb lifestyle is actually the way we should be living. So whether I win this show or not, I feel incredibly healthy right now, and I kind of want to keep that going. I don't want to have all the cookies and crap backstage, so I just want to keep that going, and I want to show you guys my results. So hope you stick all the way to the end. Again, this might be a little bit longer than normal. With that, guys, I'm going to head to Costco and grab my week's worth of carnivore food, and I'll take you guys different places throughout the week. I can talk about what I'm going to be doing to train and all that stuff. I'm still going to be training very hard and playing hockey. Both of my hockey leagues have started, so after bodybuilding's done, playing hockey a couple nights a week. Anyways, let's go to Costco. So I just pulled up to Costco. It's been pouring raining all day. Cool thing is, I want to say real quick, for me it's a little jarring going from the podcasting mic to this in the field footage microphone. The audio difference is just so different. So starting this week, I'll be having a podcast mic with me at all times. So I'm excited about that. Can't wait to show. But on to Costco. What are we doing here? Picking up all the keto foods. So we're going for bacon, pork belly. Might grab a little bit of sausage, a little bit of red meat. We're going to see. Keep it kind of basic. So I've been doing the bacon, and that's been working for me. Can diversify things after the show. But basically what I want to do is do a fat load with things that I know are, agreeable for me. And that's basically the plan. So I'll take you guys inside, show you what I'm going to get. All right, so first order of business, I am going to go over to the pot section. I've been looking for a cast iron Dutch oven. We're going to see if I can find that here today. If it's not at Costco, I'm probably going to go to a few different grocery stores in the area, see if I can get me a nice Dutch oven. No more splatter when I'm making the bacon. Plus, one thing I've been doing, I've been saving my bacon grease. So the idea is with a mason jar full of bacon grease, I could, in theory, make my own fried chicken in the Dutch oven. We're going to try that out at a future date, but I want to at least see if I can get the thing today. So they do have a ton of pots, but unfortunately, doesn't look like any of these are actually Dutch ovens. They've got some cast iron skillets here. I already got the cast iron skillet. Really looking for that cast iron pot, aka the Dutch oven. Something like this would be perfect if it was cast iron, but steel is not quite what I'm looking for. So it looks like one way or another I'm going to have to make another stop on the way home, see if I can find what I'm looking for at a different store. It's too bad because I love buying things from Costco, but if they don't have it, they don't have it. First order of business, I am going to get some pork belly. All right, look at that. Kind of expensive. We're looking at 7 pounds of pork belly. I don't know if that's maybe is a little overkill, but I do want to at least try it. Now, Apparently this is different than bacon. I always thought pork belly and bacon were the same thing. I thought that bacon was just thinly sliced pork belly. I guess it's not. I don't know. Either way, the macros on the pork belly are insane. It's even better than bacon as far as keto macros, so it's kind of why I'm going for that. And it's just incredibly fatty. Love it. We'll make some stuff at home with that and experiment with it, but I'm still gonna get some actual bacon, especially the pre-cooked bacon, so I can take that with me when I go to work this week. And also, but for when I'm driving to Illinois, it'd be nice to be able to snack on a little bit of pre-cooked bacon. It's gonna be a 6-hour drive, so gotta be ready for that. So one thing I really like, I probably won't get these today just because the last time I had them, had a lot of water retention, but as far as keto macros go, these are pretty solid. We're looking at 8 grams of fat, 8 grams of protein, so it's got the same macros as bacon. Tastes delicious, but I did notice a little bit too much water retention. So in most cases, I wouldn't necessarily care too much about the water retention, but since I am going to be competing in a show, I do want to make sure that I'm not bloated when I get to the stage. So I am going to avoid things like the beef sausage just for this week. In general, I think it's great. The keto macros are awesome. 8 grams of fat, 8 grams of protein. You really can't go wrong there. Just going to avoid it for this week, but in general, I would definitely say beef sausage or really anything like brats of that things of that category. Totally great if you're trying to do keto or carnivore. So another thing, I'm not going to get this week. It's cranberry trees from Costco. It's only $7.50 a pound. This stuff is awesome. Cranberry white cheddar. Again, I'm not getting it this week, but I really do like that stuff. I would highly recommend at least trying it. If you like cheese, that cranberry cheese is to die for. Probably the best cheese at Costco. But this week, I'm really just sticking to the meats. Oh man, you guys. Oh, I did it. Check this out right here. Cast iron Dutch oven. Let's take a look at this thing. Could make put the bacon in there. No more splatter. Plus I can make my own fried chicken. Probably gonna throw it in the cart and see what happens. All right, look at that. Super happy so far. We got the Dutch oven and the pork. All right, this right here is the good stuff, the fully cooked bacon. It's so easy, it's portable. Take it on the go. I'm gonna grab 2 packs. 6 grams of fat, 6 grams of protein. So you got the same macros as that beef sausage I was showing earlier, but for some reason I just don't seem to hold as much water with the bacon as I do with the sausage. What I really like about it, we've got sodium and potassium in here. So even if you're not tracking your own electrolyte intake, this bacon is kind of electrolyte foolproof. You just have a couple slices of this and you're already good. You could be drinking normal water if you wanted to. I still add salt and potassium to my water. Now, since I have already 7 pounds of pork belly and 2 packs of this fully cooked bacon, I feel like I'm actually good for the week. Like, I probably really don't need anything else. So I'm gonna get this Dutch oven, give it a try today. Other than that, I've already got eggs at home, so I'm pretty much good for the week. The plan is to ramp up as the week progresses. So low calorie today, trying to keep it around 1500, and then starting Wednesday, going to ramp up the calories all the way to Friday and Saturday, where I'm going to be trying to be somewhere around 3500. That is going to be a calorie surplus, not a massive surplus, but it will be a surplus. I want to be going into this show being full, but not necessarily bloated or spilled over. I think it's going to work as long as I am very adherent to not having any carbohydrates in between now and then. So literally zero carbs. We'll see how this goes, you guys. So something I will get from Costco from time to time are these rotisserie chickens. It's not the most keto friendly thing in the world, but they're only $5. If you aim for the thighs and the legs, do pretty well. The breast is the breast, you know. It's the whole chicken. You just eat as much as you want, toss out the rest, or take it home. However you want to do it. It makes for good snacks for the dog, and hey, it's only $5. I mean, all things considered, that's a pretty solid meal for $5. Maybe not the most keto friendly, but well, this is my last non-bacon meal until next Saturday, so you know, happy to mix it up at least a little bit. Very excited to show I just got my second microphone, so I'm gonna open it up, unbox it. Some people might be thinking, hey, is it a little bit overkill to have two of the same microphone? But the reason I wanted to do this is because when I go in and I post-process these videos, it can be kind of jarring going from one microphone to another. I want to have the audio quality be consistent from the beginning to the end. So whatever video or whatever microphone I'm using when I start a video, I want to use that same one concurrently throughout the whole thing. So I still have the other mic. I might use that when it's more convenient, but at least having this opens up other potential opportunities as well, because then I can start having guests. So pulling out all these pieces, won't drag you guys through me assembling this, but it's basically the microphone and then a very basic stand. So easily can take this on the go, leave the gator arm here. This home studio took a lot to set up, so I don't really want to break it down. So I want to leave everything here, keep it nice and consistent. This will be like my road mic slash if I'm going somewhere. If I have somebody over, now they've got a microphone they can use. In my very next scene, I'm gonna do a field test on this. It's the same mic. It should be as simple as this plug and play, run the same software between two mics. Oh, it doesn't go there. There we go. Okay, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I can figure out how to screw in a microphone. There we go. This is how I'm gonna do it. So this is how I'm going to do it when I do it. All right, so right now we're in this mic, but when I'm doing stuff, I'll be doing it through this mic. Same software, so it should be plug and play. Let's see if it works. Just got this new Dutch oven. I'm gonna be putting it to the test. Today I am not doing the pork belly because I'm already running out of daylight and I want that one to be a slow cook. So instead we're just gonna go with the regular bacon. Want to see if I can make this bacon without having a bunch of splatter all over the shirt and all over the kitchen. So this right here is 1.5 pounds, so I'm only gonna make half the pack right now. So the thick sliced bacon from Costco, we're looking at 70 calories per slice. So if I just make 8 slices for now, it's looking at like 560 calories or something like that. I don't have a calculator, I just head math. Once your Dutch oven has been properly rinsed, you can then proceed to add the bacon. Step 1, just going to pull out 8 slices of bacon here. So by the way, guys, today is Sunday. Because it's Sunday, I'm keeping the calories pretty low today. Trying to do my best to stick to about 1,500. If I really have to, I can crank it up to 2,000. But the gist is that I want to be in a pretty strict calorie deficit until Wednesday. That basically means I can have this meal twice, so this is the first time I'm eating today. I'm going to be at about 500 to 600 calories, and it's 3 p.m., not bad. I'll have something again later tonight, maybe at like 8 o'clock. I have hockey at 10 p.m., so I want to make sure that I'm properly fed going into this game. Now, I have said in previous videos that you don't perform as well in a calorie deficit, and that's true. Gonna work with what I can tonight. So by the way, this thick sliced bacon from Costco, this is my favorite one of all the bacons they've got at Costco. This stuff is really good. I like the thick cut, a lot more crispy once it's cooked. I think that's 8, but we're gonna throw one more in just for fun. All right. No splatter, no mess in the kitchen going forward. And once I'm done with all the bacon and stuff, I'm making some braised beef in here. So Thanksgiving's coming up and we are going to have a lot of fun. Hear from you guys because, hey, I'll admit, I'm no Bobby Flay. I'm down to try a whole bunch of different ways of making bacon. I've done the cast iron pan, now we're doing the Dutch oven. Some of you guys have recommended me the air fryer, so I want to try that one next, but let's not stop there. If you guys know better ways of doing this, better recipes, things like that, I'd love to hear it. I'll give it a try. I'm about to pull this out. It looks pretty good, and I'm about to dig in. All right, I think we're ready to do a first sample. Let's see how we're doing. Oh, look at that. It almost looks like ham. So this kind of has like the appearance of ham. It doesn't look like bacon quite yet. Could crispy this up a little bit, but one way or another, I definitely want to take a taster and see how we did. It looks good so far, one way or the other. Very good. Definitely does not have the texture that you normally would expect with bacon. Probably because it's not done yet, but wow. Flavor is on point. Really liking that so far. One thing I didn't know about these Dutch ovens, the lid gets pretty hot. You have to use an oven mitt just to use it. Let's take a look. Boom. Guys, that's starting to come along. Still doesn't quite look like bacon. Looks still more like ham, which I guess makes sense because it's still pig. But it looks good. The sample I had was even better. And in about 15 minutes, I think this is going to be ready for consumption. All right, if it wasn't crispy before, it is now. Look at some of that. All right, that one's ready to come out. Oh, that was a splash. That was definitely a splash, guys. All right, I'm gonna pull some of these out, especially this bad boy right here. This one's coming out. You know, the thing about this bacon stuff is, like, I'm not sick of it yet. In fact, I'm only getting more excited about this stuff the better I get at making it. Everyone tells me, oh, you're gonna get sick of it eventually. Well, it hasn't happened yet. All right, first sample is going on the plate. Oh, it looks like two of them fused together, which is just more bacon for me. Let's see how we did. Look at that. That is a crispy piece of bacon. And people said I was going to get sick of this. Alright guys, there we go. This is 3/4 of a pound of bacon. So I'm going to do this basically again later tonight, but I'm going to up the volume just a little bit so that when I have hockey at 10 p.m., I want to go in there feeling really good and energized. So saving a majority of the calories for later. I'm going to try to end up at around 1750 for the day. I think that will allow me to still play a good game while staying in this calorie deficit. Until then, guys, I'm gonna eat this. And whatever you do, do not pour this stuff down the drain. You will destroy your pipes. Alright, so it's the Thursday before the show. I'm starting my fat load today. What I've got in the Dutch oven is 4 slices of pork belly. It comes out to be about 2 pounds. When cooked, that's going to be somewhere around 200 to 250 grams of fat. It's going to be hard to get that exactly right, so I'm just ballparking it. Now, in here, unfortunately, I've already had one. I shot this, and the microphone was halfway plugged in, so unfortunately, I've got to reshoot the whole thing. So one of these is already eaten. Spoiler alert, it was really good. So I'm going to show you guys what's in the pot. Alright, so I started out with 4. I just had 1. Now you can see this thing is not cooking nice and slow. The plan is to have one of these every 3 hours until they're all gone. So I just had the first one at around noon. That means I should have the last one around 9 p.m. The nice thing is, as the day goes on, they're just going to get more and more tender. The first one was very good. Slightly tough, but I bet by 3 o'clock when I have the next one, it'll be even more tender. Now, all this is obviously pork belly. Then I've got a ton of sea salt in there. And then I put a little dollop of maple syrup. So the maple syrup is really awesome. It adds a lot of flavor. It doesn't add a lot of calories. I'm only putting in maybe 2 teaspoons into the pot. And here's the thing, as it cooks throughout the day, most of that's going to end up in the liquid it's cooking in anyways. So the calories from the maple syrup are negligible. I didn't even track them. But they do add a crazy amount of flavor to this. Now I've already had one. It's very, very good. I could eat this every single day, and even outside the context of shooting this video, I probably will. I enjoyed it that much that I can't wait for 3 o'clock to have the next one. This stuff is really, really good, and it's kind of awesome to think you can lose weight and eat like this year round, be lean, and still enjoy eating. I know I'm brand new to this whole carnivore thing, but I am enjoying it a lot. So I can't wait to find out more about it and tell people my experience. So far, my experience on it has been nothing but good. I'm very excited to keep going with this. So I'm gonna have this in about 3 hours. The next time I see you guys will probably be tomorrow when I'm on my way to Illinois. It's gonna be tough for me to have pork belly while doing a 6-hour drive. So I have an entire package of pre-cooked bacon. I'm probably going to stick with that once I get in the car heading over to Illinois. At the hotel, I'm hoping to have some kind of bacon for breakfast in the morning on Saturday. We'll see what they've got. The plan is to avoid carbohydrates entirely until at least after the show. If I want to have fun afterwards, show's over. But trying to really keep it strict here, fully ketogenic. Let's just see what happens. Just want to give you guys one last look at the pork belly. I'm really excited about this, guys, because this is something that tastes so good that it doesn't feel like dieting to me. Anyways, look at that. Nice and browned out. Each time I have it today, it's going to be more and more tender. I can't wait, and I'm hoping the microphone is properly plugged in this time. All right, I will see you guys when I'm on my way to Illinois. All right, here we go. I'm on my way to Illinois, bringing the family with me this time. So got my dog over here, and my parents are in the front seat. We're doing this as a little family trip. As of today, all I've had is some fully cooked bacon from Costco. I'll show you guys that more in detail at the hotel. But aside from that, all I'm having today is just cooked bacon, and I'm going to have all of that tomorrow as well. Once the show's done, that's when I can go out and have a fun meal. The plan is to just keep everything as ketogenic as possible. Oh, and by the way, my mom watches all of my videos, so go ahead and say hi to her in the comments. I think she would really appreciate that. All right, see you guys at the hotel. All right, here I am. I'm checked in at the hotel. I had to switch microphones. Unfortunately, the wire here is kind of loose when plugged into the camera, and it was causing a lot of interference with this microphone. So I'll try to get that figured out so I'm using the same mic going forward, but it's good to have a backup. What I wanted to show you guys before I head out is I've got my bacon. This is that Kirkland fully cooked bacon that I was talking about earlier in the video. So this I've been having a little bit here and there throughout the day. We had a 6-hour drive, so I'll just nibble on it. Aside from that, haven't had anything else to eat today. I am going to be going to dinner with my family here after I check into the show and get my spray tan. I'm going to try and keep it as ketogenic as possible. So we're going to be looking for either salmon or steak. Not going to try to have any of the sides if I can avoid it. Tomorrow at the breakfast buffet, I'm looking for scrambled eggs, sausage, bacon, and that's it. When we come out of here on Sunday, I can indulge, have some waffles, things like that. That's not a big deal, but at least for now, I want to be keto all the way through the show. So, what else do I have here? Well, if you guys know me, you know I got my electrolytes down. I've got my potassium chloride, and I've got my Himalayan sea salt. The teaspoon is already in here. I'm going to be putting a teaspoon of each of those into this shaker. I'm going to fill that up with water. I'm going to sip on this periodically through the night and also through the day tomorrow. Keep those electrolytes nice and high so I can feel really good and get a pump. I've also got some Pepto-Bismol and Gas X. The reason for these is that you want your stomach to be as flat as possible on stage, and having any food that's bubbling up can cause a little bit of bloating. This is going to be a preventative measure. It's not mandatory. I'll have it if I need it. If I don't need it, I won't take it. But at least it's good to have it. And I've got one little surprise for you guys. If I get hungry, I've got my dog's dog food. Anyways, I'll take you guys in there into the bathroom. I'm going to show you guys my physique for the final time. I think this is the best I've looked of the 3 shows that I've done this year. And I think a lot of that comes down to this Keto Peak Week. The other 2 shows were only 2 weeks apart from each other. It's not a lot of time to make real changes. So I think this is actually all diet-based, which makes me even more ecstatic about this. I'd never actually tried the real carnivore diet before this. So this is brand new territory for me, but I gotta say, I'm actually very impressed with it. I do think I'm going to continue with the carnivore lifestyle, at least for a while after this show. I'm really enjoying it. I feel strong. I feel really good. And the best part is, like, I feel leaner. So it's a win in every category. I'm excited to show you guys the final physique. After that, I'm gonna head over to the venue and get sprayed, and then we'll go from there. And hopefully I get this microphone working so that I don't have to swap microphones all the time. I would like to keep my audio consistent. I'm kind of an audio junkie, and I hope you guys can appreciate that. Anyways, let's go into the bathroom and check things out. So here we are. This is probably the leanest I've been for this competition season. Feeling good, feeling very lean. Good camera angles all around. I'm pretty happy with how this has all turned out. So, win or lose tomorrow, feeling pretty good. It's the morning of the show. Not looking as tight as I did last night, but I should tighten up through the day. Gonna basically avoid eating as much as I can. Still want to hit the salt water. Had some slices of bacon here and there. To be honest, guys, at Texas Roadhouse last night, I had a couple rolls. But aside from that, doing good, feeling good. Go on stage around 6 p.m. We'll see how it goes. And now the mic is finally working. Decent pumps though. Alright, so here we are at the show. I'm just about to get my spray tan. Look at all these sweet rewards. The axe over there is actually sharpened, so it has to have the scabbard on it. I think that is incredibly cool. If you do win that, you better be careful taking it home. On this other table, we've got plenty of other rewards. So the winners do actually win $2,000 if you're a pro. So I compete in the amateur, so I'm not going to qualify for those quite yet. But the plan is to someday take pro so that I can actually start taking home prize money. Big bucket list goal of mine, and from here, I want to take you guys on stage. So here I am. I'm on stage with two other guys for a total of 3 contestants. As you can see right off the bat, the other two are simply just leaner than I am. I was kind of expecting this going into the show. So the unfortunate reality is I just didn't lean out enough, and there's a lot of work that I need to do in the off season to come back a lot leaner than next time. And I'm going to go over that in my post-show analysis, which is coming up shortly. So you're going to see here, they brought us back out, and you're about to see me take 3rd place. So hey, I'm just glad that I didn't take 4th. We got a lot of work to do. I've already got plans on how I'm going to improve, and I'll actually let you guys know what some of that is shortly here. I'm just about to do my post-show analysis, and look at that. He wins the hammer. He gets to take that home. That thing was like 10 pounds. It's a real hammer. I just love that. It's cool. Hope to someday bring one of those home myself. All right, let's do this post-show analysis. So as you can see, I unfortunately did not place in this show, but I do think there's really good things that we can take away from here. So jumping right into it, the 2 reasons I really didn't place well. 1, I simply didn't have the muscular development that I needed in certain key areas, and 2, I simply didn't come in lean enough. Now, if you watched my previous video, you know that I competed 2 weeks ago, so there's really only so much that can change in a 2-week time period. It's not enough to make drastic changes, but I will say I'm actually very excited to do a carnivore approach going forward. So this was my 3rd show, and now that all the shows are done, I'm officially in my off season, which means I can officially start planning for the future. I'm going to continue with this carnivore approach for a little while longer. I'm still brand new to it, but what I really like is the mental focus that I got while I was on this eating regimen. I don't like the word diet because I think the word diet has like a negative connotation to it. So I'm on this regimen of the carnivore approach. Now I know it's not strict carnivore. There's going to be some diehard carnivore people out there that say you can't even have like spinach or really any sort of leafy vegetable. I'm not going to go that far with it. But what I am going to do is have my diet be primarily keto carnivore focused for the next couple of months. I want to give this approach the fair shake that it deserves. And in order to do that, I've got to do it for a while. At least for 3 months, I want to be on my own version of a carnivore diet. And I'm going to explain what that means. So I'm going to be eating mostly meat throughout the day. There's only going to be a small amount of carbohydrates that I'm going to consume. It's going to come in the form of fruits and then maple syrup and honey. That's basically it. A couple times a month, I'll probably do what I would call a carbohydrate super compensation, which is when I'm going to have a very large amount of carbohydrates in a controlled setting. It's not a halt pass to go willy-nilly. Instead, it's going to be things that are very hearty. I'm talking mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, sushi rolls, and a personal favorite of mine is actually lasagna. I really like lasagna. I don't want to go the rest of my life without having some of these things, but I'm having them with a purpose. And the reason I'm doing this is because I have looked into carnivore and I have seen that some people experience negative side effects after a few months of being on it. I want to avoid that for myself while still reaping all of the other benefits. I think by doing a carbohydrate super compensation once every week, or possibly even once every 2 weeks, it'll be enough to avoid that. I also don't want scurvy. So for people that don't know, pirates and sailors would get scurvy because they would go months at a time eating nothing but fish. They get no vitamin C. All I've got to do is have a banana here and there, or some blueberries, which are my favorite fruit, by the way, and I can avoid some of those things. I think it's a good balance. I do want to give carnivore the fair shake that it deserves, but I'm not going to necessarily go by like everybody else's standards. I'm going to do my own thing. On top of that, I want to address the physique critiques that the judges had. I need more ab development. I've got to get my shoulders a little bit bigger, and all around I need to dial in more. So this is where I'm really excited, because now that I'm in the off season, I'm going to show you guys how I plan to address that. And you're going to get to see in real time the improvements that I make, because I'm very confident that now that I know what I need to improve, I can put a plan together that I believe is going to succeed. And I actually think it's going to succeed with carnivore. I'm going to give it a few months to try it out. We'll see if it's working. If it is, I plan on coming back in spring to do another set of shows. If it doesn't end up working, not a big deal. We'll try something different. But one way or another, I did not come home defeated. I learned a lot. I gained experience. I'm still developing as a natural bodybuilder, and I plan on going forward, not backing down. So that basically comes to the end of this video. We did a lot of fun things, lots of keto, lots of carnivore. I didn't peak on carbs at all. Well, that's not entirely true. I do kind of want to touch on that for a second. So before I close out, there is one thing I do think I want to say, is that I looked the best of this whole prep when I was at the hotel before I went to get my spray tan. And it wasn't until after I had those dinner rolls at dinner that I started to kind of fluff up a little bit. So that's a mistake on my own end, so I have to kind of hold myself accountable for that. I do really think that I had a very dialed in physique for a small period of time in the hotel room before I went to dinner. And I also think that maybe, as much as I like the carnivore, it seems like the salty bacon led to a little bit of water retention, which is kind of not what you want when you're competing. So I'm still figuring all these things out as far as what I want to do on stage. But as far as like actually dieting and cutting goes, I think this is going to be the right approach. And with that, guys, I think I'm going to start closing this out. If I got you guys all the way through this video, I want you to know how much I appreciate you. I know it's asking a lot to have you watch a 50-minute long video, but I didn't want to cut parts out because I wanted to make sure that you saw my entire thought process start to finish. You could see why I'm doing the things I'm doing, and then also see if it works or not. Other than that, now that it's the off season, I'm going to be playing a lot of hockey, so I might show you guys a little bit of that side of life. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And with that, guys, I'll see you in the next one.